Welcome to Trailer Tailors, episode 3. Did we already make it to magic number 3? That's awesome. I'm Coray.
I'm Matt.
And together we fight crime. And of course, by crime, I mean bad trailers, because we work together on the trailer in a box program at Dark Arts Syndicate. We just had our big announcement. Yay for us. That's exciting. Matt and I put a ton of work into our reel. So if you see some of the patterns that we work on with those pieces we work together, probably a bit of that was expressed through the reel. That was a weird one, right? Like, how do you make a video about all the videos you've made? Right?
Yeah, because how do you know what edits came from the original video and what edits came from the actual reel itself? It gets very meta, very Inception.
Yeah, so everything else has seemed a little bit easier. So for today, that's what's up with us. We're going to go into our trailer remixes. I just live streamed mine on LinkedIn, and it was not a total disaster, although Matt and I were just comparing notes for all the things that we wish we could have gotten done. Only an hour. And then we're going to take a look today at... Which game is it?
We're looking at Satisfactory. In particular, we're looking at the launch trailer, the early access launch trailer. So, this is more in the lines of what were they thinking in terms of trying to go ahead and draw in people to an early launch access title 7 years ago. So we're going a little bit back in time on this one.
I've not played this. I believe, Matt, you've played quite a bit of it.
I've played the crap out of this game.
Nice. So we'll have two different perspectives. It's been on my list, but I'm gonna not play it until after we do our review.
Yeah, don't, because it's like, first hits free, kid, and then next thing you know, your wife and kids are gonna be wondering why you've been in the basement for the past 12 hours. So.
It's Civilization style, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then we're gonna pick our remixes, and I have a good one already picked out, but we'll reveal that later. So why don't we jump into our remixes from last week? We took a look at the sensational trailer Cast and Chill, and Matt and I took our own stabs. Matt, do you want to leave us off? Because I think
actually no, I left off last time. I would like for you to go first this time, and you're fresh off. Yours is hot off the presses. I
literally finished it like 3 minutes ago, like screaming into my microphone about rendering. So yeah,
fresh from the oven.
Let's run it. All right. So my task was combine Cast and Chill with a cozy romance game. So I present for judgment Cast and Chill and Chill.
Out on the water, man's got all he needs. Crisp mountain air, many fish as you care to catch, man's best friend keeping you company. Then again, maybe there's more to life than just lures and rods. I know one thing, there's something magical about bringing a man a fish and getting a smile in return. Maybe that smile turns into a drink, maybe more. Maybe make it a cast and chill kind of night. Better yet, a cast and chill kind of night.
Bring a man a fish.
Right? Yeah. I was thinking about because we're having fun with these, but I was also like, well, how would that actually work? And it would be the same loop, right? You'd bring fish, you get, a discount in the store or whatever to get better gear, which is basically the Baldur's Gate 3 loop.
Yeah. Oh. or the Dragon Age Origins, when you would get gifts to your companions to get them to start to like you. So that's that was a classic moment when Morgaine was asking, was reminiscing about that incredible catfish that she once had that she lost, and so you have to go and find the catfish and give it to her. That might have been a DLC. I might have gotten that confused. Or a mod.
So there you go, Captain Chill and Chill. Matt, what do you think?
I loved it. I loved it, and I love the fact that you actually. Well, when we get into mine, I'll tell you as well. Is like I didn't get the title in. I completely forgot, and I ran out of time. I even went over. I told you. I confessed. I was like, I went 10 minutes over time, and I completely forgot the title in. So the fact that you actually had the time to go ahead and put in the title with the double Faden, yeah, much respect. That one, I love that. Maybe there's more to life. Yeah, bring a man a fish, see him smile.
I was trying to do the voice, but my voice is quite a bit higher, so I had to like pitch it down, and it was like
it worked pretty good.
Like,
I wasn't sure. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Coray with like some effects, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I thought, I thought it was heartwarming. I thought it was lovely. I thought it was like, the start of something beautiful, like Brokeback Mountain. So.
Be like this always.
God, I wish I could kiss you.
Oh, that was good. All right, thank you. I appreciate it. I needed the validation because I put my heart out there.
Oh, it was adorable. I loved it. Okay, so I'll set mine up here first really quick. It was the idea of like the cosmic horror, which I had been thinking about a little bit because it was the game I had mentioned in the last episode, Dredge, which was a lot of fun. Also, you play a fisherman, and there's the whole cycle of fishing, and there's the lighthouse. So I got into this one. I had an idea for this. So this is also this is carried very heavily by the audio. So, nice. But let's go ahead and bring it up, and then you can tell me how it worked. All right.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Out here, you remember how quiet the world can be. It's the stillness, the quiet. And just be. Deer, the bears, each one with its own stories, or the stories you tell after.
You gotta watch it.
Doesn't matter.
I'm watching, I can see.
Nothing in particular. A bit of hope. Doesn't matter. You grab what you need, then you're off again. Doesn't matter. And the skies, she don't care what kind of day you had. Breathe deep. Breathe deep. Breathe deep. Come on. The feeling that you're exactly where you're meant to be.
That was really good. I got actually scared. It's okay.
That was one of those things too, where it's like, I spent so much time like in the beginning, like just getting like trying to get these effects and stuff in. At the end, I laid down the rest of the trailer. It's just like, there it goes. That's because I spent a lot of time on the audio in the beginning, like cutting it up and getting the pitch and the other stuff changed up. So I had very little time at the end for the actual visuals.
Bravo, man. That was not only excellent, it was too scary for me, and I had to hide inside my hoodie, and I don't think I can watch it again because for some reason, like I'm not the biggest horror fan. It's too scary. But I loved that you just used the VO. You didn't change anything other than like retiming it and then remixing it. Like I did not think that would be possible, and was immediately delighted to see that. And if the way you framed it, it's like you have all you need. It's like sinister if you like. Also shows the power of music. Oh my God, I need.
Yeah, so I mean, like with that one, just really quick, I'll wait till you're back up.
I'm okay.
Okay. With that one, for me, it was like it was I had that idea, like when we listened through it, like he's got that old voice, but he says a couple times, he's like, out here, you remember how quiet the world can be.
That's what it was. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna
I know,
die.
I was like, and then later on I'm going through, I was like, oh wait, he says doesn't matter. Oh, I'm going to just use that one there. Like, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So,
Doesn't matter.
yeah.
Whew.
But like you said, and this goes to creating trailers, music creates so much of the tone, so much of the setting, in terms of like, I was able to take that original VO, that wholesome, warm, inviting, kind of thing, and change it to something incredibly sinister without changing the voice. I made a couple tweaks to the voice later on, but it was the background music and the visuals that suddenly like make it all different.
And the vignette was great. I think, did you close it in the I don't know, whatever you did was awesome.
Yeah, the vignette was there, like, but that's also like going back to yours as well. There you had that sort of like warm voice to it as well, and with those nice scenes that are in the background, and it reminds me of the statement people have made before. People will rather watch a video / trailer that has good audio but bad video, as opposed to good video but bad audio. So like there's so when you do a trailer, you have to make sure that people can enjoy it without sound, because sometimes they have the sound off. You can get the visuals across, but also if you want to make that sound count. So I think that was a really good example for that one. We had a lot of fun with that one. That was great.
Dude, that was really good. Also, I love the presentation you did of the Switch logo. Definitely a lawyer is going to call you and tell you not to do that, but it was still awesome. Okay.
All right. Let's move on. All right, so we're set up to watch the Satisfactory trailer. As a reminder, this was their early access launch trailer. So when we watch this, let's think about, if I'm just going through looking for some games to get into, especially, if I want to take a risk with an early access game, how well does this trailer make me want to jump into this kind of a game, right? All right.
What was at the end there?
That's one of the creatures. That is the that's the creature that is like one. I can't remember. There's a name for them. Unfortunately, I don't know the actual name, but they are these big, almost like elephant kind of creatures. So,
all right. So taking a look at Satisfactory. Let me add my top 3 here, and I might be let's see, we got a nice little pink purple thing going back here. It's like a light red. You know me, I'm a bit more optimistic, and obviously it's a great game, and the trailer does a lot of really good things. I feel like they made some interesting decisions that I might not have made.
Mhm.
You know, you've seen some of the trailers I do. I like a minute, maybe 30 seconds, tight, tell the story.
Mhm.
This one definitely meandered a bit. To your original point, that might have been the idea, right? So starting with the strengths, it shows the depth, right? And it shows the quirkiness, right? Like it shows that like this isn't like, you know, Call of Duty, right? This is its own fun thing. I know we always use Call of Duty as a reference point for some reason. It's its own fun reference point. But like, what's interesting is they didn't make the joke until what, 30 seconds in. I'm maybe gonna put these just as my 3, and I might be a little bit argumentative in this one.
Yeah, not everything has to be. So 2 things. The first one is not everything has to be like these were great trailers, and the second thing is that a great trailer or a bad trailer doesn't necessarily mean a great game or a bad game.
And, you know, there's no accounting for taste, right? The kind of trailer that I like and I sort of see resonate doesn't always fit. And this is a game that the whole point is it's different, right? It's not another 4X game. It's not another building game. It's unique. So I think they did the job, right? They showed the depth and the flavor. The pacing was interesting, right? You know, considering the quality of the game and considering that up front, there was a bunch of really cool stuff, right? I'm going to say like, timing up front was really nice, right? You had like that opening roll of like quick shots when you were going back and forth between the pod, and then when they opened the pod, it was really cool, right? It was like, oh, I get it. It's not okay now. You know, you get the joke, right? But then they have basically a full long like 1 minute block of just gameplay that could have honestly been cut in half or like trimmed out with some cinematics, or you make the joke in the first 5 to 10 seconds as opposed to however long it took, and then you kind of like mix in some different footage at the end. That being said, it did a couple things well, right? The music was pretty unique, but it had a nice driving beat. The opening and the ending were strong, and honestly, if you got those 3, you're in pretty good shape. So I think those are my 3 impressions, if you will.
The first thing I'm going to say is that I thought it was interesting. Well, let me see. I thought it was interesting. I'm going to say music choice. And this is not like top to worst, that kind of stuff. This is just the first things. The first thing is music choice. And the reason for that is because it starts off as sort of like a, you know, very dramatic thing. And then if they wanted to go into actually more of sort of like a quirky, whimsical approach to it, I felt like a music change would have been good there. You know, like you really sell the beginning of like very serious with like the dramatic bum, bum, bum. And then you go into like an accordion and clarinet combo or something like that. But something that sort of like shows sort of like the aspect to it. But again, I'm thinking like 7 years ago, this was also like, you know, driving music, energetic. It's like that was, I think, like that kind of stuff. And that music, I think I've heard it before. If not, I've heard like that almost exact strain of it. Like that sort of like I listen to a lot of like EDM, electronic dance music stuff. So like that stuff I'm very familiar with that type of beat that comes into play. So that was my first thing. The second thing that I thought was really interesting, that I completely forgot about until I did this again, was the idea of multiplayer. I've played through it single both times. Now I know that I've had friends. There's a mutual friend that Coray and I have who's played with his sons. Actually, this was years ago, and so they were playing together. So the fact that they actually wanted to show that it's multiplayer, I think for early access, I think that's a big thing. People, I feel like when people are doing early access games, when people are looking for early access games, they want co-op games, not necessarily competitive games. They want co-op games they can play with their friends. That seems to be like a big draw in. Like think of Helldivers 2. Think of RV There Yet, that big one that just came out. You know, these kind of like co-op games are like very like popular, and I think this was something that they saw a long time ago. Even goes back to like the unfortunate example of No Man's Sky, where they were talking about multiplayer and it turns out there was no multiplayer. They eventually did put it in, but again, that was like one of the big things that hyped it up. So that was the second thing. And then the third thing I'm going to say, this is a little bit of bias on this, but I'm writing it slowly because I'm a terrible speller. Conveyor belt chaos. I love that stuff. When you're playing the game, that happens. I don't care how like clean and neat you try to make it. You always start out with conveyor belts running everywhere because you're trying to like get from things from point A to point B. So the fact that they included that in there, like there's that one scene when you're falling down past all these conveyor belts, I was like, that just gave me more of the warm fuzzies at that point. So, so I think they did that well in terms of showing like this is a game where you're building up these machines, producing this stuff. There isn't a lot that goes into like the crafting, which I think is smart. It's more along the idea of the actual factory itself. The logistics, that's what I was going to say. It's more about the actual logistics in terms of moving things from one location to another, because that's what the game's all about. Especially when you get into the deeper parts of the game and you have, resources on completely opposite ends of the map, and you're trying to bring them all together to actually, create the stuff that you need. So those are probably my three. Then the music choice, which was like an interesting approach to it in terms of why they chose it, of something I probably would have made a little bit different. The multiplayer I thought was smart. They didn't overemphasize it, but like when the pod opens up, there's a person there. There's usually 2 or 3 people that are running around doing stuff. And then just the conveyor chaos. I'm glad I spotted that. That's a totally different game. That's my top 3. I think then we're probably ready to go to the trailer breakdown, right?
Yeah, I think so. While we're switching over, maybe one note is this game has had undeniable success, and this trailer, what probably has millions of views or something. Mm-hmm. So like clearly it resonated, right? Clearly it worked. Mm-hmm. So if we're being critical, I think there's a interesting question there, right? If you're going for best practices, I think you and I are pretty tightly aligned to those best practices because we work across a lot of genres. We work across a lot of audiences. They probably know their audience really well. And they may have done either like upfront a bunch of homework to sort of say, hey, we've done research. We know what our audience wants from these metrics, or they might just be part of their own audience. And they just know when I am looking at a trailer to make a decision about a game, I want a lot of gameplay. I don't want shenanigans. I want this. I want that. I want this pacing.
Yeah. One other thing I'll mention, because you just kind of brought that up, as opposed to the past couple ones we watched, no voiceover, no title cards. Nothing like that. It's just some establishing shots, and then it's all gameplay at that point. So I think you're right. I think that at that point they know that, first person point of view, running around, building stuff. Let's go. So here we are in the timeline looking at this, and I think this one is going to be actually pretty straightforward. First of all, we can see that it's basically just a little over 2 minutes, basically around 2 minutes, pretty much on the dot. And we start, of course, with the company logo. That's a nice little bring up for that one. Let me actually make a cut there just for the heck of it. And then, like you said, we've got like, the shot inside the pod, and then we're outside of the pod. For how long is that? That's about almost 20 seconds, about 19 seconds, or like, 18 seconds or so. We're actually outside of the pod. Then we're back inside the pod. And then we were seeing more of the outside stuff again. So we're kind of like building up to it. And then the pod is landing. And then here, this is the big moment here. This is at about, 40 seconds, 39 seconds when the pod doors actually open. And let me actually really quick open those up like that. So the door opens, and that's when everything kicks off. And from that point on, I think we're mostly, it's all gameplay footage, right?
I think so. I think we could probably identify a few cinematic shots. Like they go into a little bit of the crafting UI right around a minute. Yeah. Like, man, it is mostly first person. I guess when they get to like 1:15, they do a nice fast motion building shot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, a lot of this is just straight up gameplay, which there's a ton of value to that, but it's different.
Yeah. Let me, I'm just making some cuts here for those spots you pointed out. Basically calling out the spots where it is not first person. And then let me go, because even those shots when you're it's like a tilt and zoom, you're actually like on jetpack. You can see the person's hands. That's like at 140. That's still first person. and it's really like not until we get to the to the final title at close to 150 that we're out of that again. So like, let me go ahead and just bring these up here. A couple things I want to point out really quick too as we do this. So we found like again, all gameplay. Like they're not messing around. There's no like, you know, shyness or coyness about this. We're showing what you're going to get into, which I think, like you said, I think is good. People who get into this kind of stuff, who love like the nitty gritty of these logistics kind of games, this is the stuff I think they're going to see. They're going to see the depth of the logistics that are available. But a couple of things I do want to point out though that I have to laugh at. There's one of them here. Where is it? I'm trying to scroll through so I can find it. Here at 118. When the truck drives through the legs of that big creature, happens all the time. Even if you're not trying to, sometimes they're just standing in the way and like they're almost impossible to kill. You can do it, but you know, it's like they're just basically in the way all the time. And so driving through the legs and knocking them over, it's a little bit of satisfaction because they're constantly getting in the way. So I just wanted to point that one out.
Lacking context, you sound like a horrible human. I'm just gonna say that.
I know, that's the thing. That's the beauty of it. So
all right, cool. So I think the thing that just blows my mind about this trailer is up front, right? What is this? This is this 40-second joke, right? And it's a good joke and it lands and it's like a classic, like, oh, in a world tone shift, right? Like, you know, but like that is bananagrams to me. And maybe, you know, if you're working on an indie game and you don't know that it's going to be like the next big thing, maybe you have the.
Well, you probably are hoping that it will be.
Right, exactly. But like, you know, they're not like, oh, this, you know, this is going to debut with a massive marketing budget, right?
Right.
But I think that's a heck of a risk, right? Because we talk about losing X% of your audience every second up front. Taking 40 seconds before you show it the game really is pretty wild. But we also saw that a little bit with Cast and Chill, right? They went a minute in and they were sort of like, they were showing gameplay, but not like, you know, casting a line and pulling in a fish. Mm-hmm. So it is not obviously the first game to do this, nor will it be the last.
If I can make one point on that one, I don't know the details because I haven't done like research on this, but I think they might have been able to get away with the 40 seconds in the beginning, and Cast and Chill might have been the same, because I think Coffee Stain Studios, the people that built this, I think they had already built up a pretty strong following. Like this was the official launch trailer of early access.
Okay.
But I think it reminds me a lot of sort of like same thing with Subnautica, the original Subnautica. Yeah. It's like before they even got into early access, they had already built up a pretty strong following. So this is one of those things that it might have been like, we're doing double duty here. On one hand, we want to bring in new players. On the other hand, we want to show / reward our longtime supporters everything that we've done, everything we've been doing. You know, there's always going to be like, I've been part of the Gloomhaven and the Frosthaven early access games, and like, so I'm always checking to see like what the new stuff is coming out. But I'm not on the boards every day. Like I'm not that deep into it. So like whenever I see their new trailers come out, there's a lot of times there's some stuff in there I didn't realize was coming out. So anyways, I just want to point out that might be one of the things that gave them sort of like,
point. Yeah, if you're a brand new title with no audience and you're taking 40 seconds at the beginning to sort of build up, that's rough. If you are like a big anticipated title, you have that liberty. I actually did want to call out a couple things I really liked in that big chunk of gameplay at the end. Right around 1:30, there was this moment of like they did the like 3 people. It was either drinking or like taking a potion or inhaling.
It's the inhaler. It's the inhaler.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make a little aerosol can. Yeah, and that was nice, right? They do 1, 2, and they all drink it at the same time, and it's a time to the beat. I thought that was really cool. And then like 5 seconds later, they did a clap right in the beat, and then right at the end-ish of the main gameplay segment, they had a gun twirl.
Yeah.
I thought those were like pretty cool because they sort of took you out for a moment of this like just roll of gameplay, and it put something authored in there, which I think helped pace it and helped draw you through. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, and I think
Not
that for me, a couple things that kind of stood out. One of them is like right here, my beautiful arrows. So like what I think is interesting on this one here. So this is all gameplay. You know, this section right here. This is all first-person gameplay, and then they break it up a couple times, like you point out. So here's the crafting. We're showing you how the crafting goes. But again, even though like you're building stuff, I really wouldn't call it a crafting game so much. So like it's a very small sliver in terms of like what you're doing. And then the second one over here was when you're actually seeing the time lapse of all the buildings pop up. Like, so those are the two when it's not first person.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So those are the two where it's sort of like, we've got, here's all the first person gameplay that you're gonna be doing as you're running around. This is what you're gonna be seeing. And then this is a spot just to kind of like show you like, oh yeah. And then this is how like you're gonna be building certain stuff. And then this is a spot where this is how your base is gonna be expanding. But everything else, you know, is all about like showing like the conveyor belts being built, the buildings being built, you know, building out, getting actually all these levels set up, that kind of stuff. It's very much it's very much a nice way, like you pointed out with the hand claps and the gun twirl. Like the gun twirl at the end is also sort of like that sense of accomplishment. You're looking out over this vast, well-organized factory running like clockwork, and you're spinning your gun because you're just that damn good. And I don't know if you noticed, but there's another person in that scene too. There was another person that was standing on on like a tower or like a thing, something like that. So like, again, you know, they had a number of scenes where they would have other people in there to really like show that multiplayer aspect. But with the 3 people doing the aerosol can, I just thought about that. That's something that's actually really nice, is that that's also showing like, that was like one of the best examples of the camaraderie aspect of it. Like you're all together and doing that stuff. I feel at times you're kind of like running around, but that one, like you're all like doing the same thing at the same time, which was nice.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's almost that Helldivers, like, what's the point of doing an emote if there's not a friend to watch you do it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Or like Sea of Thieves. Like there's a lot of times when the whole point of doing those things, and you know, World of Warcraft doing the dances, it's like you don't do that stuff that much for yourself. You do that because other people are watching, or you're just having fun.
Yep. Yeah, and I think you said something really smart, Matt. This last little bit, right? The little bumper at the end with the creature.
Yeah.
I didn't get it at first. I'm like, that's random. Like it's just standing there. But it is fan service, right? And you hit the nail on the head, right? It's basically, this is a trailer that's giving the people what they want. And if you sort of think about that, my handwriting is awesome. Fan service here. If you think about this trailer through that particular lens, I think it makes a whole ton of sense.
And just as a side too, like in terms of how they changed going forward. So this was the original launch trailer for the early access. Later on, when they actually did the full release, the 1.0 access, when it was actually like no longer early access, many years later, the trailer actually was really just about the fact that now the toilet in your little area could flush. Like that was it. It was like they had the character, and then they start running and they go into the bathroom, and then you hear the flush of the toilet. Because I don't know, I wasn't part of the Discord, but I have a hunch that was something that probably the fans were clamoring for. We want this toilet to flush, damn it, you know. And so that was like the big reveal but that at that point they were already very successful. They could do whatever they wanted to. And that's where I think they fully embraced the whole sort of like this game is really for fun. You know, it's like we're having fun with it. We're enjoying it. There's nothing serious about it whatsoever.
Well, and that's the key to modern user acquisition, is having a robust community of people who will recommend the game to their friends, who will like, share, and repost, who will participate in Discord. Every metric, right, ties back to those. So clearly this team like recognized that and delivered what that community was looking for.
Yeah. So. And I think that as one more note on that with the early access, because I'm just remembering, I don't know about you, but like a lot of the games I play these days are from Steam. And so I'm looking at, and I'm always very careful on early access games because there's so many that have failed. But the ones that seem to succeed are the ones that develop really strong communities. And another one I was thinking of was Darkest Dungeon, if you ever heard of that one. The very first game, I remember when that one was in early access. And that was one where there was a very strong bond between the developers and the community. So like it's hard to do. It's not easy to do, But if you can nail it, if you can capture that lightning in a bottle, whew.
Okay, so that was our look at Satisfactory. We're gonna remix this thing in totally reasonable genres. Matt, I actually immediately knew what I wanted your genre to be, which is going to be a David Attenborough style documentary. Your choice if you want it to be a game that has documentary influences or a pure documentary. But I want to see where you take it.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Because that fits in well with what I was going to do for you. You'll appreciate this, Coray. I want you to remix this as a sports game.
Nice.
I know that you're a big football fan. You love the love the sports, that kind of stuff. So I want to see you turn this into like a sports game of some kind.
Bum, 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 bum. Right. All right. Nice.
I'll give you a freebie. I'll give you a freebie on this one. Not that you have to use it, but the reason why I thought about it, I was thinking about there is quite a bit of shots of them running. So
that is true. Yeah, it is for a game that's about building. There's a lot of just like running and
running around. Yeah.
Nice. All right, great. Those will be fantastic. And I want to nominate. So you nominated Satisfactory, which is a fantastic selection. For next episode, I would like to nominate 007 First Light. It's been getting a lot of buzz. I'm a big GoldenEye fan. I've been meaning to play it. Our one common friend has been talking about it nonstop on our Discord server. So I think it's time to dive into that one.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
All right. Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll be back again with a David Attenborough take, a sports ball take on Satisfactory, and we'll take a look at 007 First Light. If you have games that you'd like us to take a look at or genres like you'd like us to remix, like, subscribe, follow, etc., we're pretty easy to find.
Put comments in the section.
Yes.
All that kind of fun stuff.
Yes, please. And we'll see you during the next episode. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Coray.
See ya.